Monday morning, everybody. Welcome to the start of the work week and another edition of Chicago Now.
How's it going?
Here alongside Natalie Baumke. You are doing a marathon stretch for us this morning.
I know, but you know what? This show is so fun. Not a lot of heavy lifting. Great topics that I think people at home will really enjoy today.
I agree with you. And one of such said topics is something we've been wanting to talk about for a couple weeks now. We had this lined up. They had to push it back. We're talking to the auction house that is going to be auctioning off Pope Leo XIV's childhood home.
You know, and I was a little concerned about the auction itself because remember, there was a city employee there that stepped in the community, and they were like, no, I'm sorry.
Eminent domain.
Yeah, the city was going to take it over,
Yep.
right? And then an employee stepped up and tried to take it to court saying finances should be spent on other things. But I thought, what if they do take it over as eminent domain? I don't think it could go to auction if that happens.
Well, what I'm wondering, we're going to answer all these burning questions, but my whole thought was, how do you determine fair market value for the place without doing this? So I'm wondering if the auction has to do with that, and we're going to get to the bottom of this with the CEO of Paramount Realty US. So look forward to that.
And they've done other celebrity homes too, so maybe we could ask about that too.
I know. So we're looking forward to that. And then a little bit later on, this doesn't surprise me, we're going to run through a recent study that analyzed how hard it is to pronounce certain states. And not surprisingly, Illinois made the list. I mean,
to me, that's surprising.
Really? There are Illinoisans who still say Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois.
Yeah.
So we're going to run through that.
All
it's
right.
kind of funny.
That concerns me more than surprises me, actually.
I know. There's a little bit
like
of
that
both.
man on the street when they ask who the president is, and the guy or gal's like,
or what's the
Dan Quayle?
Exactly.
No.
Where's the nation's capital? Those kind of
right,
things.
yeah. Anyway.
I know what you mean. And stick around as well. We are going to talk about how an Indiana couple is making it their mission to preserve the art of cursive in an age where handwriting seems to be diminishing.
Yeah.
How's your penmanship?
You know, the only time I write cursive, and I'm confused as to whether or not it's required, is on a check when I'm specifically.
It is required, right?
Right.
You have to sign a
check. Not a signature, but on the dollar amount line. Like you write $10 in the box, and then I always write out 10 and then cursive. Is that a requirement? Because when I was growing up, it was like you have to write that portion in cursive.
Really?
Is it?
In cursive?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's not because I've never written in cursive and nothing bad's ever happened.
Okay, because I will write like the person's name, Anthony Ponce, you know, like in non-cursive writing, and then I will write $10. What is wrong with me?
Hypothetical question for you.
And I'm always like,
let's say the amount is $10.
Okay.
Do you write 10 and then the line? Are you with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. For just a flat $10 fee, do you write 00 over 100, or do you write no over?
No, I write 00.
You write 00.
But it's so hard sometimes, like if you're paying your Cook County tax, well, I'm trying to think, I pay that electronically, but there are some bills that you have to pay, let's say something over $1,000 that you have to write a check for. I can't think off the top of my head what that would be. But it's hard to fit all of that. 1,500, and I'm doing it in cursive.
64.
Like why?
We're going to talk about this. I think it was a Z.
Oh, the cursive Z.
I don't know how this came up. It was it was in the last few years, but I had an occasion to write in cursive, and I don't know, it was pizza or something. Even right now, I'm not sure I could write a Z.
It's tricky. It's like the hump, and then it's a line, and then like a. I can do it. I don't know why.
But like, okay, so I have the J, the
oh yeah, J's are tricky.
J, the lowercase J. I remember always liking when I got to that one because I thought it was easy to write, but now I can't. In my mind, it's been so long because my handwriting now, years later, because we type everything, is like a mishmash of certain things seem cursive-y, other things seem print.
Can I add another crazy thing into that?
Let's do it.
So I was in special education for reading and writing when I was in kindergarten because I was taught to write in a form of writing called Danielian when I was in preschool, and it's like a mishmash of cursive and plain text.
And they put you in
and so because I couldn't write like the other kids, you know, because my letters looked funny. I was in special education.
Are you AI? What is delineate? What did you call it?
Denelian. It's a form of handwriting that they taught at the preschool I went to. And I didn't go to like a fancy preschool, you know. This was like, yeah, isn't that crazy? So,
okay.
They're looking for it. And
is it weird that have you guys, team?
Never heard of it. And so like oftentimes when I write like a T, I'll do like a non-cursive. Yeah. It has like a little tail on
little boat
or
a
little boat, like because it was like a lot of the letters had little tails.
I'm having a moment here.
Okay.
All right. So Natalie and I have worked together for many, many years. Does this happen in your marriage at home? Do you ever does something ever come out about your spouse where you're like, what? How did I have no idea that you did that as a kid or whatever it is? Do you guys ever have those moments?
Yeah, oftentimes, but it's like people that he knew and he's like, I told you I knew that person. And I'm like, what would one of yours be?
Well, Maggie is full of surprises. Oh, okay. Denelian. Look at this right here. The Denelian method is a style of writing and teaching handwriting script based on the Latin script.
Huh.
And it's interesting.
Developed by a guy from Michigan. Okay.
Well, wait, so that just looks like standard cursive to me.
Right, but that's how I learned to write print. And
wow.
that's how I was writing print. Like, what do you call normal handwriting? Is it print, right? Print and cursive.
Yeah, print your name.
And so
yeah.
my teachers were like, she does not know what she's doing here. I was ahead of my time. Little did I know.
I love this. Now I know a new word, and I knew that you used to write Denelian.
Yeah.
I was like, you used to speak Denelian. She's like bilingual, but with writing.
Right.
But I think, you know what?
Crazy.
Looking at that Wikipedia page, I think I write Denelian as well. I just didn't know it was called that.
Put it on your resume. You know what?
It's like under skills. People still write like Microsoft Word.
Right.
Oh, wow, you can do Microsoft. And I write in Denelian. Oh, wow.
You know what? It's a conversation starter.
Hey,
that's what you want.
I can't
wait.
In
those job interviews.
Yeah, you look over someone's shoulder. Beautiful Denelian you're writing in there. You have awesome.
Oh my
I love
God.
it. All
what
right,
else is coming up?
Trending this morning.
Oh yeah.
The NBA Finals. I loved how you titled your Natalie read sports this morning on Good Day Chicago, which is rare.
And there's a reason for that.
Listen, I've been told by close friends how much better you are at doing traffic than me.
Oh,
so we all have our skills.
Yeah.
And Natalie said when she got the sports read today, we're going to put this, what did you say? We're going to put this under the category of Natalie reading sports.
Yeah.
It's good.
And I did it very poorly. So first of all, I don't care about the NBA Finals. Unless the Bulls are in it, I don't care. Okay? And why does it always, every year I'm like, why is this going on so long? Every year it
NBA
shocks
playoffs,
me how long it goes.
Yeah, the NBA playoffs do last about as long as an entire hockey season.
I don't care.
It goes on, but listen, Nat, there were some interesting subplots here.
Okay.
We bottom line it for people who are just, the Pacers throughout the playoffs just seemed to come back and they were just the Cinderella. They were not supposed to get this far, and they just played their hearts out. And so last night, in the first quarter, Theo and I were watching it before I had to go to bed, but yeah, Tyrese Halliburton went down with it was one of those injuries. It was we believe it's an Achilles tear. That no matter here it is right there, no matter who, any sports fan is just going to be like, that is a shame. He's been their best player. He's been the heart and soul of that team. He's the one who's led them through all these comebacks with some heroics, and to see him go down in the first quarter. Now, characteristic of this Pacers team, they actually fought really hard the whole game. And one thing I kind of liked about this finals is sometimes you get two major franchises from two major cities, and it's like, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? Boston's going to get another title.
The
LA
Lakers, right.
going to get another title.
I think that's the last one I watched was when I lived in Sacramento. I was dating someone who was a huge Lakers fan, and so we watched the Lakers-Celtics finals, but after that, it's all downhill.
It's all downhill, yeah. But to see two teams from kind of middle-sized Oklahoma City and Indianapolis, that was anyway. Congrats to the Thunder.
Thunder, who used to be the
The Sonics.
And I thought the Sonics were still a team. So that's, how far removed I am from this.
Listen, many fans were left disappointed with the game after Pacers player Tyrese Halliburton, the Achilles injury. And so anyway, I think the universal reaction on Twitter X was basically Pacers fought hard. They're almost like America's. They were kind of America's team,
Gotcha.
Anyway, so that's obviously trending. Also, Nats, the heat wave. How did you handle the heat wave over the weekend?
Well, sadly, 2 of the splash pads that we like to go to are closed for renovations this summer. And
summer?
Yeah, all
They
summer.
couldn't have timed that during
That's
the
what
spring?
I'm saying. I'm like, do it during the fall or the spring. It doesn't take that long, for goodness sakes. Anyway, we ended up going to Oak Brook, which has a great Park District pool.
Ooh.
And I love to go in the wintertime even, because they've got an indoor splash pad, one of those little whirlpool pools, a water slide.
Oh my gosh, inside.
Inside. If you're a non-resident, you pay $14, get in there. But they also have an outdoor one. So we went to that with Olive, and she enjoyed herself. But it was so dang hot.
It was. I had a disastrous trip to the beach on Saturday. Our executive producer in the morning phrased it well. She's like, some things seem like a good idea in theory, and then, parenting-wise, and then when you do it, you think it would be great. Okay, so on Saturday, heat wave, but you don't want to stay inside all day.
Right.
And there's only so many. We had 2 boys. Camp wasn't in sessions because it's Saturday. So we figured, hey, we'll go to the beach, right?
Why
we'll just
not?
do it.
Pack a cooler.
Take that umbrella, jump in.
Yep.
We get there. It is so windy that our umbrella, even though I twisted, into the ground, it was so windy that thing just kept toppling over. And you know me, I do not do well in the heat. And so without this shade, it was just out there. And
I'm surprised with all of your parkour skills
My
and your
parkour
strength
skills,
training
yes.
that you couldn't get that umbrella deep enough into the ground.
And the other thing is that we had to move because we accidentally put the umbrella up in range of the lifeguard.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do an umbrella, you have to be behind the lifeguard chairs, which I really appreciate the folks up at Gilson Park and Wilmette, safety-wise. Yeah, that makes sense.
Great.
They need to have full core vision. So that was also a pain too, to set everything up, get settled, move. So it was just, it wasn't one of those good. Afterwards, I was exhausted. I regret going. So yesterday we did the indoor trampoline park thing.
Oh, how fun!
Which went way better.
Yes.
That went way better. It was nice and air conditioning, and I kind of just sat there.
Those are so great.
Yeah,
yes.
In the dead of winter, they're great. In heat wave type, they're great. So we had, as Chicagoans are wont to do, some very funny reaction online with regard to the heat wave. So we want to show you guys.
There's currently a heat wave happening in Chicago. If you wear natural deodorant, do not go outside. Stay away from me. Stay home. Today isn't for you. This week isn't for you. Don't get on the bus. Don't get on the train. It's 2020 again. Quarantine yourself. Okay? Don't play. This is not the time. It's 190 million degrees outside. The wind is hot. Everything's hot. It's humid. It's disgusting. Don't be worse. Don't add. Please. I beg you. Please.
I actually want to consult him for interior design more so.
Oh, I didn't even see his decor.
I liked it.
Okay. Hey, there you go.
So take it from him.
You didn't have your earpiece
No, I
fully
didn't.
turned up,
I
but he
do
basically
now.
implored people, if you don't have deodorant on, stay in.
Oh.
That's why I always try to brush my teeth before I go on set, Nat. That coffee
you do.
breath. I'm a considerate individual. Let's check out another comment from Reddit. For real, I saw some folks, we'll say, complaining you never had a British heat wave. Sorry, buddy. The Chicago humidity will cook your beans and toast. Anyone from there's no way it gets as hot as it is in Chicago in the UK. You ever been to the UK?
I've never been.
It's
so
always 58 cloudy and rainy there, constantly. I don't think the sun shines in the UK.
I thought they had a heat wave though a couple years ago that we were reporting on. Okay.
Yeah, they did. It can't compare to what we face around here in
What was it?
in
Jake
Chicago.
interviewed a celebrity recently. It was Owen Wilson, and the woman that was with him that was starring in the movie that he's in now did theater in Chicago.
Oh, yes.
And so she was like, I can't wait to get back. And Owen Wilson's like, you're either freezing to death or cooking there.
That's right.
He's like, there's no in between.
There's some truth there. I think it can seem like that for sure. And this is interesting to be going through this right now because we were all, Nats, 59. Didn't it feel like the entire month of May was 59 degrees?
Yeah,
in
we were
Chicago?
saying, like, I was talking to Emily Walls, our chief meteorologist. She's like, I feel like spring was stolen from us.
Yes. So Owen
know?
Wilson kind of turned out to be right because it went from like cold immediately to hot. We'll see how the rest of the summer goes.
Yeah, hopefully it's not bad. I was reading a statistic that, I know that this is a terrible idea because it messes with the water pressure popping these fire hydrants. I think it's bad for the firefighters. It's not good.
Oh.
But in some communities, that is the only way to cool off. And I was reading that there are 11% of people in the Chicago metro area that do not have air conditioning. 11%.
That's no bueno. That picture, though, it brings back memories of Chicago of old. You know,
the 90s,
all 80s and 90s. You see, just like, and sometimes, you know, I didn't know it messed with the water pressure.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I guess
that
would stand to reason, because it looks like Old Faithful when you crack those things open. It's awesome. Well, I hope people cool down properly there. Okay, one other thing that we're going to be talking about coming up. This is coming up really quickly, and I hope the heat wave breaks much in time for this event that you love. We're going to talk about preps upcoming for the big NASCAR street race and the road closures therein. So we will be right back with that right after this. Everybody stay with us.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. We have a special guest joining us. Misha Hagani is the CEO and founder of Paramount Realty USA. That is the company that's handling the auction of Pope Leo's childhood home in Dolton. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house. It has been in the Provost family, the Pope's family, for nearly 50 years. The auction has actually been extended through July 17th, I assume, because there's so much interest here. And so we've got some questions for Misha joining us here. Because apparently, Misha, good morning to you.
Good morning, Natalie and Anthony. How are you guys?
Hey, we are great because you're here with us today. Tell us how you guys got involved in the auctioning off of this home.
Well, I would say over 99% of our business is inbound. It's usually from sellers or listing agents, usually the latter. The listing agent contacts us to say, hey, listen, we've got XYZ property, it's unique, it's special, it's difficult to value, or for whatever reason, they think it makes sense for an auction, and so they usually reach out to us. We were connected with this broker within a couple of days of them learning and the world learning that this home is the childhood home of the new pope. And it was a fairly easy conversation because the property is unique and it's no longer a single family house. We can get into that in a minute, but that's that.
All right, so Misha, run us through the process from here. We mentioned that bids are being taken till July 17th. How does this all work?
So essentially, our firm is like a marketing firm. Paramount is an auction company, and we specialize in helping sellers and listing agents market and sell property through auction. We have a couple of different auction platforms. This is a sealed bid auction, which means that bidders submit their bids discreetly or separately from other bidders. There are a few steps to participate. Once a buyer falls into our buyer funnel, they review the information online. They can request a tour of the property with the listing agent, and they can review substantive due diligence information that our firm has compiled regarding the property and this unique once in a lifetime, once in a generation opportunity. And then they can go on our website, click certain places, and submit their bid. They could submit their bid price and bid terms, which they are permitted to vary, for the seller to review. And July 17th is the deadline.
Is there a threshold price? Like in order to get into the bidding, one has to at least offer this amount?
So in this case, we've set what's called a reserve. That's the threshold. We use reserve price and minimum bid price synonymously. In this case, it's $250,000. But people are welcome to bid whatever they want. Even below that doesn't mean the seller is going to accept it. And of course, the bidding should go up from there. And we've already had bids, of course, well in excess of that $250,000 reserve.
Are you able to disclose? You mentioned this is kind of a closed seal thing. Can you give us a ballpark, or is that not allowed?
Correct and no, meaning correct is a sealed bid process, and no, I'm sorry, I can't reveal what bids have come in yet.
Misha, how do you determine or screen out legit bids from non? You know, if I wanted to bid $100 million, it wouldn't be legit. How do you quality control?
Good old-fashioned proof of funds. We need to see this. We need to see that the cash is in a bank account, or a letter from an accountant, or a securities account. We've had statements from crypto accounts for various auctions provided to us as well. So as long as we can verify the funds are there, then we know we're dealing with a bidder that's capable.
So this is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home. It was built in 1949. It's about 1,050 square feet. The lot is just under 5,000 square feet. I assume that whoever purchases it has to keep it residential, right? Because it would have to be rezoned if they were to turn it into like a museum or something for profit.
Yeah, I mean, an owner of real estate can only do with the real estate that which is allowed by local law, by zoning laws. How you just described the property would be relevant, meaning the 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, the lot size, et cetera, et cetera. That would all be relevant if we were selling a house, just a house. But we're no longer selling a house, and I think that's the unique thing here. We're now selling, yes, physical property, real estate, but it's association with someone who's now extremely, extremely important to billions of people on this planet that we're selling. So a buyer is not, I mean, there could be bidders who bid on this for use as a single family home, in which case, let's say it's worth $200,000 or something to that effect. That's fine. You know, when it comes to single family homes, the way that you value them is through comparables, right? You look at other homes in the neighborhood with similar specs, right? Similar bedroom count, bathroom count, condition, how old is the house, when was it last renovated, lot size, etc. And then you extrapolate from there, and that's how you figure out what a regular home is worth. Paramount's, a huge part of our business is marketing and selling special, unique, and difficult to value properties by auction. The same reason why art, which is so subjective, is sold by auction, why antiques, which my father loves to play with, jewelry, autographed baseball cards, sports memorabilia. Why are these things sold by auction? Because they're not easily comparable, or comparable is the right word. They're not easily comparable because there aren't necessarily going to be similar assets available. So you can't value this type of property that way. So this is actually a really unique comparison that I'd like to make. The best way that we can value this property is by comping it not to other single family homes that are in that market, but by comping it to another very, very unique, special, high-profile childhood home, which Paramount has auctioned. And that's the childhood home of President Donald Trump, which we've auctioned a couple of times. And in short, we sold that in January of 2017. We actually auctioned it, as I said, a few times. Our second sale took place 3 days before his inauguration and ended up generating a sale price of $2.14 million.
Wow.
For a house that was worth $950,000 as a regular house. Okay, so we sold it for, let's say, a 225% premium over its typical home value, and that premium that we generated is obviously because somebody who loves Trump was willing to pay more to buy this thing that was so closely associated with Trump. And I call that premium the Trump bump. Okay, that's what I refer to as the delta between the house's value as a regular house and what we ultimately sold it for as the childhood home of the next president of the United States.
All right, so what do you think the Pope bump is going to be?
Yeah, so actually I don't call it the Pope bump. I call that the Pope premium.
The Pope premium.
So we have we got the Trump bump and the Pope premium.
What do you think it's going to be?
I would compare it. I'll tell you, I would compare it. I think there are a couple of ways you compare this. Number one, the size of the audience that would buy the childhood home of Trump is maybe, let's say, 100 million or 150 million or something to that effect. I'm just saying like half of the country,
right,
plus a number of people from outside the United States, which we did have global bidding for Trump's childhood home.
Really?
So that's the size of that audience. But the Pope's childhood home, you have like 1.3 billion or 1.4 billion Catholics in the world. The size of the audience is much greater. So that's number one comparison, okay? Number two comparison is not the size of the audience, but the level of devotion or commitment to the property. On the one hand, Trump's followers are largely politically motivated, right? It's a political-based devotion. You know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
With the Pope's childhood home, you're not talking about politics. We're talking about something with far significant meaning and value. It's spiritual, it's religious, it's faith-based. So I think that the level of love that people are willing to give to this property exceeds the level of love or demand. It's really about demand that they would for a politician's home. And the third and final point is the price point. Trump's childhood home was worth $1 million, let's say 950,000, and so that's a bigger number, right? It's a little harder to imagine someone paying 20 million or 10 million or 5 million just to buy. By the way, Trump's childhood home was a 4-bedroom, very, very modest, 2,400 square foot house on a 50 by 100 lot size or 40 by 100 lot size. It was modest. This is a $200,000 home. A high net worth individual, a wealthy person, could easily pay 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, just based upon absolute dollars. It's a smaller, more, what's the word? It's easier to digest $1 million or $2 million. So those are my comparison points between what was, I would say, Trump's childhood home, the most famous home on the planet, maybe after the White House. I would say that the Trump's childhood home is now the most famous childhood home on the planet.
Well, some would say that these homeowners hit the holy grail by
there
selling.
You go.
Talk about this issue of eminent domain, because the city of Dolton, or the village of Dolton, excuse me, expressed interest in taking this over with eminent domain. I would assume the homeowners would get bottom dollar if that were the case.
But they're supposed to get fair market value,
okay,
right?
Well, bottom dollar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
200 grand, let's say, versus millions of dollars that they could get here. But is there a risk that whoever purchases this house could ultimately lose it to the Village of Dolton.
Or does the Village of Dolton have to join in the bidding?
Any of the above is possible. You know, the laws are the laws, and if the village or other government agency has the right to take through eminent domain or purchase through private party transaction, I'm an attorney, by the way, then they can certainly pursue that approach. To my knowledge, the only things that have happened thus far with respect to eminent domain is we've received one letter from the village attorney, I should say, and we've seen interviews that the village attorney has done with the media, but we haven't yet seen any other steps taken to acquire through eminent domain. So that's all that we've seen so far.
Okay. Can you give us an idea about how many bids you guys have gotten, or is that sealed as well?
It's sealed. We don't typically comment on the number or nature of the bids that we've received.
Okay, so July 17th is everybody's deadline, right?
That's right. That's right. Although it is subject to prior sale, which means, you know, we do have bids. People can bid now, and the seller does have the option of accepting a bid now, and a buyer can short circuit the auction process by buying beforehand.
All right, final question before we let you go, Misha. What kind of future do you envision for this property? You mentioned that your firm has experience in these kinds of situations. Do you think it's more likely to end up a private residence, a public site, or something else?
In short, I would say likely end up some sort of public or quasi-public. That means I think either it'll end up, whether it ends up in the hands of the village or some other private person, I think they're going to somehow make it available to the world to come and visit, to pray, to look at, to admire. You know, listen, we're in the auction business, right? So highest bidder wins, and it's just common sense that the highest bidder for this property is not going to be somebody who's going to buy it and move in. Because if you're an end user, as we call it, and you're willing to pay whatever this is worth as a regular house, around, let's just round it to around $200,000, the next bidder might pay $300,000 or $500,000 or $1 million to do something special, unique, different with it. There's no way that the end user can compete with that.
All right, Misha.
That's fascinating stuff.
Misha Hagani, CEO and founder of Paramount Realty USA. Thank you, sir, for joining us on Chicago Now.
Keep us posted.
Come
back when we have a winner.
With pleasure.
Okay, very good. That's fascinating. We thank him for being on the program.
We do. I'm just what these homeowners walked into. I mean, because I think the house was on the market, was it not?
It was
before
on the market.
Pope was named.
Can you imagine being that homeowner and being like, wait, whoa. And then there was confusion whether his home was on such and such street or such and such place. Do you remember that story? There was confusion because there's, you know how some of the Chicago streets are either place or street. There was a similarly addressed neighboring property that wasn't his, and so they landed here. One thing he said that I will disagree with is about the most famous homes in America. I just got back from what I think is the second most famous home in America after the White House, and that is Graceland, the Graceland Mansion. We went and saw Elvis Presley. Here's the thing, having just visited Graceland, that is an absolute cash cow now, okay? This is a place, and I had been there when I was a kid, late 80s, and there was not much to it. You could walk through the house. They had it roped off, and then there was a kind of a wing of the house that they had. It used to be his trophy room where he had all of his gold and platinum records hanging up. And then in that little section, they had some of his old jumpsuits and, like, I remember his karate uniform and like some other random stuff. But that was basically the tour. And then you see where he and some family members, not Priscilla, but some of the other family members were buried. And that was it. Today. Okay, it is the most visited private home in the entire country. They have built this. It's not a museum, Natalie. It is a museum campus across the street. They have his jets. They have a huge Elvis car museum. we could have, I'm not exaggerating, I could have spent all day in there and not seen everything. They had everything in there. They have shuttles going to, they have 2 or 3 different restaurants. They had 4 or 5 different gift shops. I'm telling you. And this is all because they've done such a careful and meticulous job converting this place into a living museum. So depending on, I'm not saying this is the future. You know, there's Graceland's got a lot of land. Okay, there's, you know, I think it's 13 acres or something like that, and there's a big plot of land across the street. But he alluded to it. Misha alluded to the fact that if someone does do this the right way, it could become kind of a, you know, a pilgrimage site, and it could take on a life of its own.
Well, and a boon for Dolton, let's hope, right? For the businesses there. And hope, I'm not to interrupt, but I hope it gets to a, you know, like in Oak Brook, the businesses shoulder the tax burden there. So if you live in that community, your taxes are not as high as other places. So maybe, you know, this could help folks with property taxes. It could offset a little bit. I don't know.
They've certainly had their issues down in Dolton. So we will be continuing to follow that story very, very closely. Less than a month away from the end of that bidding time period. So that's interesting. I'm very curious to know what is going to happen to that place. So it's a fun story to be able to follow. All right, when we come back, we're staying local and talking about the hardest to pronounce state names and where Illinois came in on that survey. Stay with us. Go ahead, Nat.
Okay, so here's the deal. According to a recent survey, they looked at the states with the most hardest to pronounce names, apparently, and Illinois falls on the list. I think it's number 4 because people say the S.
People say the S. Yep. So let's flash the top 5 here.
Okay.
What do we got here?
Arkansas is number 1. I don't know how you can mispronounce Arkansas.
Well, when I was a kid, I was like, Arkansas?
That's what Anita was saying earlier,
Arkansas.
but I have never heard anyone mispronounce that. Now, I have heard this, because even in the news biz, number 2, some people say Nevada.
I got scolded for that so much by a former floor director of mine, Kathy Gruber-Jones. Hello, if you're watching. She corrected me once, and I never made the same mistake again. Hey, Ponce, Nevada. But yes, I was a Nevada guy for so long.
Is it Colorado or Colorado?
I say Colorado. I bet that's on the list too. We need to know. What do you say?
Colorado, probably.
Yeah.
just to make it sound fancier,
Yeah,
you know,
it
when I'm
does sound
doing the news.
Colorado.
The third place is Oregon.
Colorado is correct.
Okay,
See it at
good.
number 9?
I do. I need to look at this list for news purposes,
Absolutely.
you know, to make sure that
Send
I'm
that link
nailing
out,
them.
Delaney. But Oregon is a really Oregon.
What about Hawaii?
I don't even say it. I think I say Oregon wrong because I say gin, not Oregon.
I say it like a body part, like an organ.
Oregon.
An organ.
Like an organ. But people say, apparently people saying Oregon
I don't know.
is common too. And then here, Illinois, obviously Illinois is Massachusetts. That's weird, Massachusetts? Massachusetts is the correct? Because they have the accent over the sits. That I've never heard it. It's over chew, Massachusetts. Nats, in terms of local things, what do people always get wrong here in Chicago?
I'm trying to think. Oh golly, it's not milk and milk.
Milk,
Hello.
water,
Local.
instead of water. Goethe. Do you know how to Goethe?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about streets.
Yeah. Streets in local
Troop.
Chicago.
Troop
Oh,
is another
yeah,
one. That's
Troop.
a big one.
Throop. Good one.
Yeah.
Moffat. Moff. Or yeah.
And then that I always mess it up. There's that school in it's not Lakeview, just north of Lakeview, that is named after a Swedish. I think it's a Swedish,
not von Steuben.
No, I can't even remember it. I shouldn't have even brought it up. Anyway,
I got a couple of words that I just
Okay.
want everybody, because we do have to go to break, for you to pronounce, because Natalie has her own dialect here. She writes in, what's it called?
Denilian.
She writes in Denilian and she speaks Bomkey. R-O-O-M. How do you say R-O-O-M?
rum.
Rum. She says, so how do you say like the drink, R-U-M?
Rum.
So rum and rum are two different things in Natalie's speak. How about R-O-O-F, Nat?
Rough.
Rough. And what does a dog do? What does the dog say?
Rough. There's a difference.
I don't know. I'm a roof guy. Natalie's a rough. And then how about D-A-T-A?
Data?
Data. A lot of people are with you on that. I'm a
Okay.
data guy.
Okay.
I'm a data guy.
I used to say valedictorian.
Isn't that how you say it? I say valedictorian.
Valedictorian. You know
As
what? They're not
opposed
just
to
are
the
they a
invalidor-
dictorian, they're a valedictorian.
Valedictorian. I learned a lot about you today, Nat. Okay, cursive. We're going to go old school again and talk
Yeah.
about cursive. Finally, we get these guys on. I cannot wait to talk about penmanship with the experts. They're bringing back this lost art form. We're going to speak with them live coming up. If you grew up learning how to loop your L's and cross your T's, you might be surprised to hear that cursive handwriting is no longer a standard part of school curriculums, including in Indiana. Has Olive learned cursive yet, or is she not at that point yet?
No, she's still on at 5 years old, because she'll enter kindergarten, so it's like still just trying to write the letters. What do the letters look like?
Yeah, I think that Theo has basically just learned the print so far as a third grader. So, one couple in Indiana is on a mission to bring back the lost art of cursive, and we have the honor of being joined by Terrell and Chelsea Whittington. This is your guys' mission. Chelsea and Terrell, thank you for being on Chicago Now. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so
Good
much.
morning.
We're delighted to be here.
Yes. Okay. So
we are ready to bring back this lost art.
I like it. All right. So tell us about how you are going about doing this.
Well, we came about this program because we were just talking about the things in our community that needs to be, increased or added, and we noticed that children didn't know how to write in cursive. It's a lost art form. So we wanted to bring that back, so we came up with a program called Cursive Academy, where we could teach the children and also young adults how to write in cursive, forming with their letters, capitalization, lowercase, and then also forming words, and then forming sentences. And because it's still needed, it's not obsolete in our society. You still need it to sign your driver's license, social security card, and even voting.
Voter registration.
Exactly. So it's still
more.
needed.
And I will add as a caveat that we both attended elementary school together many moons ago. Ernie Powell, Red Devils. And we were just talking about our amazing teachers and how penmanship became a part of who we were, and how we were graded on how well we spelled our words. And there are some benefits to cursive writing as well, including your motor skills, memory skills. And so we are here to restore this lost art.
How does the Cursive Academy work then? I assume it's not online. How do you guys teach the kids or adults who are interested?
Yes, so the exciting part about this is this program is in its infancy, and no sooner than we announced the concept, we were able to partner with two local organizations, the YWCA of Northwest Indiana, as well as Woodland Child Development Center, located in Hammond, Indiana. And it's summertime. And so it was the perfect launch season so that we could get in on some summer camps. But beyond the summer camps, we are booking classes with organizations, and we're also hosting our own classes in which individuals can sign up. And we'll also be doing crash courses and one-on-ones for those who really need that special attention to cursive writing. So it's we're building the plane while we're flying it, but so far the reception has been amazing.
Children, they have been really really excited about the program. They've been really learning a lot. We are having a graduating class this upcoming Wednesday, and they're so excited at Woodlawn, and they're so excited. They've learned. And their last class, which is going to be Wednesday, they're going to learn how to sign their name. That's the purpose of the goal, to sign their name legibly, and also to understand, not only just to write, but understand cursive writing, because you got to be able to read. So we, like I said, we want to bring this a wonderful opportunity to our community and the surrounding community, and we think it's going to be a good it's
a great program.
Yes.
And obviously we can't do it alone. So we have recruited a team of teachers. And so we are just thankful that you've given us the opportunity to share the concept as we continue to grow, because we know we've hit on something big based on the feedback.
We just did actually a story this morning about the cognitive effects of relying on AI too much. They surveyed a bunch of folks who were assigned to write essays. Some of them used some AI, some of them used all AI, and then others went what we called full brain. You actually use your brain to write the essay instead of relying on AI. Can you run us through some of the cognitive and developmental benefits? Because a lot of people might say, well, hey, we got word processing now. I can just type it in, use AI. What are the cognitive benefits of actually learning the letters and how words are formed?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say from a cognitive standpoint and motor skills is when you're writing manuscript, remember you have to pick the pencil up for each letter.
Mhm.
Cursive is more fluid,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
you also know that as far as cognitive goes, when you write things down, you have a better chance of remembering it.
Right.
Taking notes, cursive writing is much faster, which allows you to take in the concepts that you are jotting down, which increases your memory, the speed of it as well, and the repetition. And then I can't emphasize enough the whole benefit of your signature being your own. We don't
Exactly.
want to go back to the times of someone signing their name
I agree with
X.
that.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that's the main benefit for us, but
Mhm.
definitely your motor and cognitive and memory
And we
skills.
know the digital age is here, but you got to know the basics. You got to know reading, writing, basic math. Those
Hmm.
are the basics. So yes, the digital age is here, and we understand that it's here to stay. But you got to know the basics. And
And I,
again,
yeah.
writing is one of those basic needs that you need to know.
And quickly, I will share with you, I have some friends who are in the human resources space, and they
Exactly.
are finding the young adults who have missed out on cursive writing are unable to sign their documents for being hired. They're seeing manuscript where they're trying to connect the letters. I mean, it's
Oh
Exactly.
almost
my.
borderline ridiculous. And so let's bring it back. It's an easy lift when people get behind it. And I'm certainly sure these parents and guardians, they are so behind it because they can't believe their kids can't sign their names.
Yeah, I mean, when you
It's a big time.
describe it that
Big
way,
time.
it's shocking that it's not taught in schools
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm drawing a parallel with math. Terrell mentioned how you need to learn how the things work. You can't just plug numbers into a calculator.
And
Conceptually,
trust it.
you'll get the answer, but conceptually, you'll have no idea what that even did.
Well, and it's a different part of your brain
You gotta
that's
understand the
working
process.
too,
Yeah,
right? When
so
you
I
do
think
that.
I think there's a lot of parallel there. It's like for your vocabulary and to be able to know and form new words. If you don't know how to spell and write, I love this. All right,
Yes.
so how can folks
Yes.
learn more, Terrell and
Yes.
Chelsea, if they want to get involved,
We would
help you
love for them
guys
to
out?
learn more by following us on Facebook. We've created a Facebook page with the website and Instagram forthcoming, but
Cursive
it's
Academy.
Cursive Academy. You simply look it up. You'll see our smiling faces. You will
Number
see the
one.
children there
Yes.
working. We'll be with them this afternoon in class. And just back to your point about the math, it makes me think about our math teachers and professors that would always say, when you're solving a problem, you got to show your math,
You got to
right?
That's
show
right.
your
Yes.
work. That's
Show
right.
your math.
All right, the Whittingtons, everybody. Love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being on Chicago
Thanks
Now.
for
Keep us
having us.
posted
Thank
and good
you.
luck.
I want to just
Thank
hang
you.
out
We
with
love
them.
you.
Like, they're
And-
really cool people,
And
you know?
I agree. I think every doctor in America needs to enroll in the Cursive Academy. Because have you ever met a doctor that actually has legible handwriting?
I don't think so.
I don't think I have either. And then also one thing I wanted to see before we sign off, the Z.
Wow.
I don't think I could have done that
No, you know what?
without the help.
The way I was visualizing it was different than the proper
then how's
way.
it- so how are you? That see,
It's like
I
a number 3.
It is a number
know
3 with
what?
a little loop.
Yeah.
I
there you
think
go.
I was doing I kept doing the uppercase J, which is kind of looks like a piece of I can't.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a little ribbon thing.
No.
Thank you for that. Now I'm gonna use Natalie's mnemonic device there and just do a 3 with a loop through the bottom of it. Now we got to do lowercase though. That's a whole
Yeah.
other topic. I love the rundown today.
Fantastic.
We
So
had
happy to be here.
We need to do follow-ups
Caitlin
with the
will be back
Whittingtons.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we need to do a follow-up with Misha to figure out what this Pope Leo, how that all unfolds, and how your question about eminent domain. I'm like, what's going to happen here?
I mean, can you imagine spending $3 million on that house and
then-
then the village comes in and takes it from you?
Exactly. Or if the sellers, oh hey, we have a $3 million offer, and the village is like, nope, we're going to pay you $250 for it.
It's like you won the lottery in the car and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
ticket was just snatched away.
All right. We will be back here with more Chicago Now tomorrow. We hope the weather is going to be a little bit cooler, but in the meantime, find that air conditioning. Stay safe out there, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Have a good day. you.